May 2nd is a day of reckoning for the greatest boxers of our generation, the undefeated Floyd Mayweather Jr. and our very own Manny Pacquiao, an 8th Division world champion. After years of waiting, boxing fans all over the world will finally watch a boxing match that will be recorded as the greatest in the history of boxing. It is only fitting for NewsLife to invite a legend in boxing commentary, one who has seen the rise of the Pac-Man from humble beginnings to the superstar that he is today, Mr. Ronnie Nathanielz. Good evening, sir. Welcome to NewsLife.
Good evening.
Sir, finally,
yes.
it's going to happen in May 2nd. Now, you've covered so many world title fights in the past, Filipino boxers. Now, how different is Manny Pacquiao from the other legends?
Very different because he's the most aggressive fighter I've ever seen among Filipinos. He's aggressive, he's got power, he's got courage, he comes at an opponent from different angles. But in terms of finesse, he has developed the finesse under Freddie Roach. But in terms of finesse, I think really that Flash Elorde was probably the best finesse-wise. And it's interesting because today is the anniversary of Flash Elorde winning the world title with the 7th round, spectacular 7th round knockout against Harold Gomes. So it's relevant in a way because Elorde was the inspiration to many people, fighters in his time, and now Pacquiao is the inspiration to just about everybody.
Yeah. Now, looking at both boxers, Mayweather and the Pac-Man, now, how different or how the same are both fighters?
Well, they're pretty different because Mayweather is a skilled fighter. He accentuates his defensive abilities. He doesn't have the power of Pacquiao, neither does he have, I think, the speed of Pacquiao, although they are very close in terms of speed. And in recent fights, Mayweather has been getting hit a lot. Marcos Maidana proved that you can hit Mayweather. And his legs are slowing down. He's slowing down in terms of movement. So when you slow down, your legs slow down in terms of movement, your defensive skills diminish. And that's what Pacquiao can take advantage of.
Is this because of age or...?
Well, partly because of age, but you know, Pacquiao is a different animal. I mean, you look at his legs, his calves are so huge, and he is really a phenomenon in that regard. So he's got the power in his legs that maybe Mayweather has been losing over the last couple of years.
Now, Mayweather is seen as a counter-puncher. Now,
right.
Can Manny Pacquiao handle this?
Why not? Well, the strongest suit of Floyd Mayweather Jr. is his right straight. And the right straight is the best counter punch for a southpaw. And he knows that. And he is very accurate with that right straight. So Pacquiao has to be very, very careful and cautious when he goes in not to get caught with that right straight of Mayweather. And the answer to that, of course, is to keep his hand up a little and cover part of his face and bring his hand here, his gloves here, so Mayweather cannot crack him.
Now, do you see any disadvantage on the side of the Pac-Man?
Well, to me, the one disadvantage, and I keep watching every day, the scores of people who crowd around him when he's training when he's running in the morning, jogging. So many people. And that's a dangerous thing for the simple reason that he can catch a virus. He can catch some infection. And I don't understand, for the love of me, why people cannot keep these onlookers away, because they come too close while he's training, and that's not good. He may enjoy the attention and his team may thrive on the attention, but it's intrinsically not good for him. Nobody's crowding Mayweather when he's training. They don't. He's by himself with his team, and he's far away from any crowd. So that's not a good thing, really.
Now, we've seen past fights of Pacquiao with De La Hoya, Cotto, and Margarito, and also Mayweather also defeated him. Do you see this as being the model that Pacquiao will see?
Well, as Bob Arum said and Freddie Roach said, and I agree totally, the way Manny Pacquiao has to fight to beat Mayweather is to duplicate what he did against Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya was taller, but Manny moved in very quickly with combinations, flurries of punches, went at De La Hoya in different angles, whirled him around, so De La Hoya couldn't counter punch. He was looking for Pacquiao, and Pacquiao was gone. So he's got to fight that kind of tactical fight against Floyd Mayweather.
Well, the fight is still about a little under 2 months away now. Do you see this going the distance, or do you see a knockout either way?
I think it's going the distance. One thing for sure, in my mind, there's no way Mayweather can knock Pacquiao out, because he doesn't have the power to knock him out, unless of course Pacquiao is terribly careless and gets caught with a perfectly timed punch. Then he might be in a little bit of trouble. But I don't see how that can happen. I don't also think that Pacquiao can knock Mayweather out, because Mayweather is too good. He's too skilled. He will grab, he will hold, he will throw a couple of punches and then grab you. Or he will put his shoulder rolls and use his elbow. So he's too smart a fighter to get knocked out. What Pacquiao has to do is to beat him badly from round 1 to round 12. Put the pressure on him, stick in his face, go after him all the time. Don't give him time to breathe. And then he's going to win a decision. Because if it's close, sorry Nalang, the judges in Las Vegas will give it to their favorite son.
Now, everybody has been waiting for this to happen, and finally it will happen on May 2nd. Now, do you see anything that could actually become a stumbling block, like the drug test?
Well, I saw an article by Scoop Malinowski, who's a renowned boxing writer. He's also an author who's written stories about heavyweights. And he warned, he cautioned. He's not saying it's true, but he said, be careful, because there may be an attempt to mess around with the drug tests of Pacquiao. And he was claiming that Al Heyman and the head of the U.S. anti-doping agency, Tigat or whatever, are very close friends. And he said, you better watch out, because this guy from the US ADA in the past was full of praise for Mayweather, and was not so nice about Pacquiao. Tungkol sa drug test. So, no, but I don't think they'll risk it.
But with that in mind, how can both camps make sure that no obstacles will happen and that this fight will surely happen?
Well, in terms of drug tests, Scoop Malinowski was suggesting that Bob Arum and Freddie Roach have parallel drug tests from WADA, which is the one headed by Dr. Goodman, who's a very nice lady. That's the volunteer anti-doping agency which has done tests on Pacquiao in his past fights. In the Brandon Rios fight, they did the drug testing. So in case there's a problem, you might have, a way to contest any decision that they come up with.
Now, whatever the outcome of the fight, do you see a rematch happening?
Well, if the fight is close, no matter who wins, I think there will be a rematch, because there is too much money to be made to let it go. On the other hand, if Pacquiao wins, I'm sure Mayweather will want a rematch to try and redeem his reputation. Whether Pacquiao will give it to him, I don't know. But I think Pacquiao, he's such a nice guy, he will. But I hope whoever is managing his affairs will now make sure that he calls the shots.
Now, what would a victory for Pacquiao mean for his future, especially in politics?
Well, it will be a huge boost to whatever he has in mind in terms of politics, because he needs to keep his name in the public limelight. He needs to stay in the public limelight, because you know how television, for instance, influences our voters. That's why we got so many artistas in Congress and the Senate. So he needs to be there, and he's a hero. No matter what you say, he's a hero in his own right. He's brought so much joy and pride to our people. So a win by him will be tremendous. I mean,
how about a loss? What would it mean?
Depends on how he loses.
Okay.
If it's not a real bad loss, in other words, if he doesn't get knocked out or doesn't get badly beaten up, then it'll be all right, because he has lost before and he's come back from losses. A loss by Mayweather will be the most difficult one.
Now, final word from you, sir. Will you be there during the fight?
Yeah, I hope to be there. And, how can you miss the fight of the century? I hope to be there and doing the coverage for well, another channel.
Okay, on that note, thank you very much
Thank
for
you
joining
very
us here
much.
tonight at
Thank you.
NewsLife. That was Mr. Ronnie Nathanielz, a real legend in sports commentary, especially in boxing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Salamat.